Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Triple R Ryan's Real Reactions, and today we are doing more of the Darrell Brooks saga. The title of this video from the Law&Crime YouTube channel is Courtroom Claps as Judge Throws Book at Darrell Brooks. That's a bar. Locks him up for life in prison. It would be awesome if she actually throws a book at him, but I doubt that'll happen. Here we go.
This is a case that falls squarely on the need to protect the community.
Judge Jennifer R. Darrell, by the way, a legend.
Referenced this earlier.
A patient
There's really
judge.
Three primary reasons for the sentences I will impose here today. One is punishment. One is to protect the community.
Yep.
And the other is to provide justice and closure to the victims. Because under that category of need to protect, the court does get to consider the impact of these crimes on the victims. I went through at length in reviewing all of those victim impact statements. I certainly didn't go
I need to watch the video of the impact statements too. I gotta do that one day.
through every single one, just highlighting some of them, but doing so with purpose, because it is very clear to this court that Mr. Brooks has caused carnage, mayhem. It has resulted in many people suffering from PTSD, from mental and emotional trauma.
Yeah, that's a great point. Not just the people that he ended their lives, but all of the people around that parade that saw and witnessed such a horrific thing that almost feels like it was in a movie. Like he mowed down people and hit, I believe, well over 100. I can't believe and understand the mental anguish that probably caused so many people. And then the survivor's guilt that we talk about from it. And then also the fact that Darrell Brooks treated this whole thing kind of like a circus, kind of like, hey, this is my show. It's the Darrell Brooks show. It's like, no, your show is canceled. Okay, it is off air.
That will take a lifetime to recover from, and for some, perhaps, if at all. You have taken away from these individuals future memories. They will never have birthdays with the 6 individuals who were killed. There will be no weddings. There will be no graduations. There will be none of the milestones that these families were looking forward to, whether it be for an innocent 8-year-old or an innocent 79-year-old. Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only...
What does he have written on that? He has something written on that paper. I can't see it. Nor do I honestly want to.
Be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life. The actions of Darrell Brooks.
Oh, we got the big lens out. Anytime you see the big lens in the courtroom, you know something big's happening.
Demand punishment. The community is not safe from your violent and criminal conduct unless you are in custody.
Yep.
You left a path of destruction, chaos, death, injury, confusion, and panic as you drove 7 or so blocks through the Christmas parade.
Oh gosh, it was a Christmas parade.
Never once stopping or seemingly caring about the wake of carnage that you left.
I believe they said this all happened because he was mad at something with a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend too. It's like, dude, bro, just go to a gym and work out or go for a run. Like, what?
4 of those blocks were turned into a scene that frankly is no different than a war zone.
So the amount of kids that were at that parade, the amount of families, I mean, this affects thousands of people.
On counts 1 through 6, this court is imposing a life sentence
Yep.
without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another. 1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen.
Rest in peace, Virginia.
1 life sentence for Leanna Owen.
Rest in peace, Leanna. Oh, he put his paper down now.
1 life sentence for Tamara Durand.
Rest in peace, Tamara. Also, is he in a separate room? Did they have to put him in a separate room to get his sentence because they knew? You know what they probably did? They probably muted him and put him in a separate room because there's nobody in the background. That's how insane he is.
1 life sentence for Jane Kulik.
Rest in peace, Jane.
1 life sentence for Bill Hospel.
Rest in peace, Bill.
And 1 life sentence for Jackson Sparks.
Rest in peace to Jackson.
I've considered the enhancer and the additional 5 years that I could impose, but I don't need to really order that because I've not made him eligible for extended supervision, and it would only be to increase his time on initial confinement. But make no mistake, Mr. Brooks, you use that vehicle as a battering ram. No different than, frankly, a firearm.
Mm-hmm. This is great because now she's showing her anger and now she's showing her abilities as a judge because she kind of let him say what he wanted to say. She let him interrupt him. She let him kind of, have a fair trial. And now it's like, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn, Darrell. And I really like that she's doing that. She's really bringing the heat.
On counts 7 through 67, these are 61 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. These charges alone and these convictions without the enhancer carry a maximum of 12 and a half years. Because of the enhancer, a total of 17 and a half years. And under Wisconsin law, the 5 years is added to the initial term of confinement. So what could be 7 and a half years is a maximum of 12 and a half years. And I'd ask that everyone no longer show any reaction to the sentence so I can get through this. On counts 7 through 67, on each...
She's like, there's going to be a lot of sentencing here. It's like at graduations, they had to start doing that. Where they'd be like, hold your applause until afterwards.
Each count, I will impose a total sentence of 17 and a half years. 12 and a half years of initial confinement, plus 5 years of extended supervision, consecutive to any other sentence that I've imposed here today.
So Darrell would have to live about 15 lifetimes to get out of this one.
762 and a half years of initial confinement.
Let's go.
And 3.
He is not immortal. So 760 years is definitely enough.
105 years of extended supervision on top of the life sentences that I've imposed. That is 17 and a half years, sir, for Nicole White.
He won't even blink. Look at him. He's just staring blankly. I wonder if, let me know in the comment, do you think he thought he was going to win? Because I do. I think he thought him representing himself, he was going to find a loophole, and I think he thought he was going to get out of this or be able to plead insanity or something. I really believe he thought, even up to today, at this moment, today as in when I'm watching this, but when this happened, I really do believe he thought, no, yeah, I'm in the right. I'm going to prove them wrong.
17 and a half years for Eleanor Anders, 17 and a half years for Sasha Catalan Castillo. 17 and a half years for Maura Gilchrist. 17 and a half years for Justin Gullickson. 17 and a half years for Harry Guilfoyle. 17 and a half years for Aiden Lofgren.
This is for all of the people that he hit, I believe.
17
And it's good that their names are being said because, you know.
and a half years for Theo Mazza. 17 and a half years for Tyler Pudliner. 17 and a half years for Connor Tank.
I hope that it haunts his mind forever, and I hope that in his mind, all he hears for the rest of his life is 17 and a half years playing constantly.
17 and a half years for Eric Teagues. 17 and a half years for Adelia Maffioli. 17 and a half years for Kelly Graybow. 17 and a half years for Josh Craner. 17 and a half years for Riley Rogers. 17 and a half years for Caden Rogers.
It's good to see that everybody is getting their justice here. Even not just those that lost their lives, but those that were hit, affected, injured, mentally scarred. It's good that they are all getting their moment here of justice.
17 and a half years for Tucker Sparks. 17 and a half years for Isabella Bartlett. 17 and a half years for Yaritzi Becerra Montez. 17 and a half years for Samantha Coelho. 17 and a half years for Madison Hollingsworth. 17 and a half years for Mackenzie Hollingsworth. 17 and a half years for Mitchell Lampine. 17 and a half years for Kathleen Peelmeyer. 17 and a half years.
You know what I've also noticed here? She could technically go through and say, okay, every single person I read is getting 17 and a half years, or is you're getting 17 and a half years because of what you did to them. I believe that she is purposely going through and making sure that he hears for every single person that he hit and caused trauma to, that it's 17 and a half years. I think that she's purposely saying it each and every time just so he, in his mind, will have to remember the actions, the consequences to his actions, right? She could easily just say, all right, I'm going to say the name of every single person here. They are all the reason that you are getting 17 and a half years each time, right? But no, she is saying it each and every time, and I believe that is to show him how much of an absolute monster he is and how many people that he affected with this, you know?
For Julia Schleichow. 17 and a half years for Olivia Stover. 17 and a half years for Jennifer Stover. 17 and a half years for Jesselyn Torres. 17 and a half years for Alice Urell. 17 and a half years for Charlotte Urell.
It's also so many different families. I've heard 3 different families with the same last name so far. Also, I give her credit for the dialect of the way she says 17. It's accurate every time. 17, like she's saying it exactly the same every time.
17 and a half years for Vivian Urell.
Wow, another whole
17
family.
and a half years for Grayson Urell. 17 and a half years for Lola Hospital.
I hope it's all replaying in his mind.
17 and a half years for Tamara Rosentrader.
And I think it is.
17 and a half years for Betty Strang.
Because he's staring into space right now, and usually when you see someone staring into space like that for a long time, they're usually, you know, there's some sort of image in their mind replaying. And I hope that he is thinking about every single person that he caused harm to and how his whole life now, after this clown show is over with what he, you know, thought he was going to get away with. I hope this is just his, you know, the end to all of this. I see he has, I don't know, some sort of book there. I think it's some sort of Bible.
17 and a half years for Maria Alvarez Dominguez.
And I'm not going to skip any of this, and I'm not going to fast forward any of this, because every single person that he did this to deserves to have their name and his sentencing because of what he did mentioned.
17 and a half years for Gregoria Romelia Perez. 17 and a half years for Elliot Hallmark. 17 and a half years for Benjamin Hallmark.
Another family.
17 and a half years for Patrick Heppy. 17 and a half years for Lori Locken.
I wonder how much stress she had from having to say all these names, because that would be my biggest stress. Like, damn, I don't want to get any of these names wrong,
17 and a half years for Marisol Lopez Gutierrez. 17 and a half years for Adair Lopez Rubilar. 17 and a half years for Juan Marquez. 17 and a half years for David Marquez. 17 and a half years for William Mitchell. 17 and a half years for Jason Petchloff. 17 and a half years for Margaret Pachulis. 17 and a half years for Yamilet Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Island Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Ashley Perales Alvarez. 17 and a half years for Jose Perales Alvarez.
Dude, he hit basically an entire family there. That is just so disgusting. That's 4 people that she just named from the same family. Imagine what he did. Like, the Alvarez, you're going to a Christmas parade with your family, and this maniac changes the course of your entire life because he can't control the anger in his little body and his tiny toothpick arms and his balding head. Once again, I am never against making fun of or shaming people like this because they deserve it. He's like a little lawn creature, a little gnome. And I am glad that he's having his day in court.
17 and a half years.
I hope
for
it's
Maria
embarrassing
Perez.
for him.
17 and a half years for Camila Perez Gonzalez. 17 and a half years for Isaac Foglia. 17 and a half years for Deborah Ramirez. 17 and a half years for Charles Green. 17 and a half years for Lily Green. 17 and a half years for Brinley Harris. 17 and a half years for Kelsey Knapp. 17 and a half years for Owen Ricciati. On counts 68 through 73, which are the 6 counts of hit and run resulting in death, these are 25-year felonies each. The court will do the following. On count 68, a 25-year total sentence, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision. This will be concurrent to count 1. Count 69, the same sentence, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 2.
They should have a law where, like, depending on how bad of a criminal you are or, like, how the severity of what you did, it should be, like, you should get things taken away from you in jail. Like, he should only be able to eat nothing but, like, slop for the rest of his life. I don't even like that someone like Darrell Brooks is going to be getting meals every day, right? It should be like, you're going to be in solitary confinement for the rest of your life, and you're going to eat nothing but, like, raw pickles or just like some, the bare minimum. You get a cup of water and you get 3 slices of bread a day.
Did I say that the right way, the first one? Okay. Count 68 is concurrent to count 1. Count 69 is concurrent to count 2. Count 70, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 3. Count 71, 25 years total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 4. Count 72, 25-year total, 15 years of initial confinement, 10 years of extended supervision, concurrent to count 5. And on count 73, a 25-year total sentence, 15 years of initial
I
confinement.
hope she says all of the years. I want to hear how many years it is combined.
10 years of extended supervision concurrent to count 6. On count 74 and 75, the 2 felony counts of bail jumping, the court is ordering a 6-year sentence total on each count, 3 years of initial confinement, 3 years of extended supervision, consecutive to all other counts but concurrent with one another. And lastly, but certainly not least, the maximum sentence for the battery to Erica Patterson, 9 months consecutive to any other sentence. To order anything other than what I have done, sir, would be to unduly depreciate the seriousness of these offenses.
Yep.
It is needed, although largely symbolic, given the number of years that I have imposed here today, because frankly, you deserve it.
That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for from Judge Jennifer right there. That moment of just, you deserve it. You are a piece of bleep. And I hope you rot in that prison, and I hope you rot in hell. And that's the truth for people like Darrell Brooks. Also, I know some of you guys were saying that you want me to watch the body cam footage. It's only like 5 minutes long, though. I don't like making my videos on here less than 20 minutes. I usually try to go for, at least 25 to 30 minutes. So if you ever see me not doing a suggestion that you guys have, it's because that the video is probably like really short. Then on the other hand, on the flip side, you guys want me to watch the interrogation. That's 4 hours long. So there are some times where it's like, okay, I got to try to find a middle ground. When I see a video that's anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour long, perfect. I can get that, no problem. But when something's like 4 hours long, that would be like a 7-hour reaction. I think my computer would explode. Like, I think it would start smoking. I'd probably be able to cook an egg on it. So that's just me just letting you guys know, like, I see all these recommendations and I appreciate them. Sometimes if I don't do them, it's just because it doesn't make sense for the time. If that, I hope that makes sense. Let me hear that again, though.
Symbolic, given the number of years that I have imposed here today, because frankly, you deserve it. I know it's symbolic, but it needs to hold you accountable in a very real and tangible way.
Yep.
For all of these sentences that I have imposed, I will order the following conditions: no contact with the victims as identified in the amended victim key or their families, no contact of any kind with Erica Patterson. You are to pay restitution in the amount of $47,193.29 to EMC Insurance Company. That's on behalf of the Waukesha School District.
I love that because he's going to go to jail for life and be completely flat broke. And that's the way it should be for someone that did something like this.
And $124,000, $220.65 to the Crime Victim Compensation Program. I am ordering DNA surcharges on all counts. On counts 1 through 75, it's $250.
I love it. She's just like, I'm charging you with everything I can. I would say, you know what, Darrell? You drank 37 waters during this trial. You're getting charged for those, and they're Fiji. They're $4 each. Okay? You had 3 packs of peanut M&Ms. Guess what? They were king size. That's $8. I would charge him to the legit penny for every single thing. The paper, the pen he used, everything. Make sure that he is left with absolutely nothing and that no one that's close to him could ever be left with anything from this man. And that should be the end of it. That's it. That's the end of his line.
On count 76, it's $200. Those are mandatory under the law. I'm also imposing the domestic abuse surcharge on count 76 of $100.
Love it. I don't think she has to do this, but I don't know if you would say this is being petty. This is I love what she's doing. I think she's just making she's saying you made a mockery out of this. So guess what? Now I get to make a mockery out of you and your finances and your life.
I'm also imposing all standard court costs on all counts, although my primary emphasis is that restitution be paid before costs, surcharges, and fees. I will order that restitution, costs, and fees be paid out of prison money. In other words, that all financial obligations shall be collected pursuant to statutory provisions as requested by the state. That's frankly a standard, it's customary, but it will be in the judgment of conviction. And then pursuant to 949.165, I'll find that it is appropriate for this court to order an escrow account under 949.165 for payment of restitution, costs, fees, surcharges, and even for costs associated with prior legal representation or future representation.
Love it.
Under the statute. Mr. Brooks has been convicted of a number of serious crimes for which this section is appropriate.
Incredible.
I will order 360 days credit as to count 1 and count 68.
Hey, there you go. He gets 360 days credit served out of his 1,700 years.
Only all other counts, 0 days credit because of the consecutive nature of the sentences that I...
There you go. I'm so thrilled to see that. Only thing I do wish happened is, you know, when the title says throws the book at Darrell Brooks, I really hope that, I wish that she, made it into a book and then threw it at his face and said, here you go. This will be the only thing you can read for the next how many years of your life until you pass on. I'm going to give you the list of your charges and the victims that you affected. That being said, thank you for watching to the end, my Triple Army members. I love you. I will be making more Darrell Brooks videos. You know, I watch whatever I feel like watching. Just because I watched the sentencing doesn't mean that that's the end of it. Okay? It popped up and I wanted to watch it. Like the video if you made it to the end. Comment down below. As they always help. Hype the video if you have any points available. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Turn on the post notifications to see when I post on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Please don't bother me while I'm watching true crime. Peace out.